Guys, I wanted to talk a little bit more about grief because I think it's really important that you allow yourself that time to grieve. And for me, I am not one that has always grieved in the best way. Um, I usually don't talk about my feelings. I keep things bottled in, and it's caused me actually a lot of harm. And that's one of the reasons why I go to a Christian counselor, is to be able to talk about the things in my life, whether it's, dentures or, losing my mom several years ago. Um, just learning those skills to be able to basically open up, share my feelings, not be afraid to tell the people that are in my life that are closest to me, like my inner circle, not be afraid to even confront hard issues that I'm being faced with. And so a lot of times you will feel like everything is just bombarding you, from the left or from the right, and it's just all these things are coming down upon you. It seems just like all at once. And obviously, because I am a Christian, a lot of my strength, well, all of the strength, because there's no strength just within myself. I mean, the only strength that I have comes from Jesus Christ. But I also know that Jesus, through His Word, has given us tools to be able to just handle life. And losing loved ones, even, if you've lost your job, or even the loss of a relationship, loss of a marriage. There's things that just naturally happen in our lives that we perceive as a significant loss. We don't go through this life without hurt, without pain, trials. And so being able to navigate through that when you have significant changes in your life, being able to go through that process in a healthy manner is going to get you through it a lot better. And for me, being able to talk about the various things that I'm going through with someone, it makes a huge difference. And so for me, um, it wasn't an option to just see a secular therapist. It had to be somebody that looked at things through a biblical worldview. Um, and so over these last 9 months, even including the few months that I did take a break because of the extractions and everything, it has it's really helped me to be able to open up. And a lot of the time my husband goes with me, and if we have any issues that, you know, we're dealing with as a couple, we talk about that. But he goes a lot of the time just as a support system for me. You know, there's things that I share that he just wasn't aware that I was feeling, or I was thinking in certain terms. And so that's why, you know, in my last video, I talked about seeing a therapist. You know, if you're having problems, being able to go through, you know, in relation to dentures, if you're having problem being able to go through the 5 stages of grief, then a counselor or a therapist is somebody that will be able to help you. Now, of course, you may find that person. I would suggest that you start with somebody in your church, you know, your pastor, and a lot of churches have staff that is for biblical counseling. And so, you know, just be careful, you know, who you do allow into your life and that you give that trust to. But, you know, just thinking in my own life with this this journey, you know, and I talked about the 5 stages of grief earlier, which, let me get that back up here. It's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then finally acceptance. And after more reflection and really thinking about it, yeah, I had a lot of anger. A lot of anger at myself. You know, was there things that I could have done to have prevented it? But, you know, now it's too late. You know, what's done is done. Things in my past, you know, I can't go back and undo. So now I just have to move forward. And so a lot of anger. And of course, even though my family knew of the steps that I was taking, I wasn't talking about it. I kept it all inside. I walked this journey alone. Even though they were fully supportive. And when I did talk about it, you know, my husband, my children, in-laws, they were all loving, all supportive, but they, other than what I shared, they didn't know they really didn't know the fears. They didn't know, like, the shame, the guilt. They don't even know, you know, the type of bargaining that I shared with you guys, like with my music and stuff like that. And so I kept this all inside, and the only person that I just poured my heart out to was Jesus. You know, it's like, as I was getting ready for, like, my first appointment for my first extraction, because I did it in stages. It took 5 appointments for all of the extractions. It's like, I just poured my heart out to the Lord, and he, even if I didn't, you know, specifically tell him how I was feeling, he knew exactly what I was feeling. And so the Lord really had to pull me through that period, because there was a lot of fear. I just constantly had in the back of my mind, you know, the experience that my mom went through, and so just the fear of, you know, oh, am I going to end up, you know, like that, you know, where the gag reflex is so bad that that I'm not going to be able to wear them. And probably the hesitancy and putting it off for as long as I did probably stemmed from that, honestly, because I was just terrified that I was going to end up just like her, because I was already feeling, so much of my life, even the expressions and my laugh and everything, I'm so much like my mom, it's not even funny. And it seems like the older I get, the more I turn into her. And I mean, she was a wonderful, wonderful woman. Raised me in the Lord, and just had the patience of Job, basically. And so while there are so many areas in her life that I strive to be like her, and she was a wonderful role model, this area with dentures and everything, no, I did not want to end up like my mama at all. And so that really, it caused depression, it caused extreme anxiety. And it's like, I can remember the 5 appointments. I had to take an anxiety medication just because I just, who likes going to the dentist anyways, right? But once I was going through those appointments, it really wasn't that bad. And even the healing process wasn't that bad. But yeah, I had a lot of anger, just a lot of self-loathing, I guess you might say, a lot of self-hatred, like, why me? Why is this happening to me? I don't want this to happen. And some of the bargaining that I was doing with myself was, I shared in the other video, how I would do my music, and, I just hide behind that microphone, and I was actually telling myself, I can do this. I was willing to compromise on some things, because I'm thinking down the road, well, what if somebody, would want me to come and sing in their church? And I was like, well, no, I won't do that, because I can't show my face. But I was like compromising, like, well, I'll just hide behind my microphone and I'll just do it this way. Well, how much compromise are you willing to do? And so I was doing all this bargaining, and as I was bargaining, the depression just started sinking in really bad, and it affected every area of my life. It really did. The anger, the depression, it just kind of all wraps up in one. I mean, yeah, you can see the different areas and different things that you did, and you could say, okay, well, this was anger, this was me bargaining, but it kind of all meshes together, if that makes sense, and it just leads into severe depression. And because it's always on your mind, you're always thinking about it, especially if you haven't, it's like it needs to be done, and you're just putting it off, and you're putting it off, and that weighs heavy on you, but yet you have so much fear inside, and it's like it's hard to take that first step, and you just have to get to a point where you just do it. And for me, I literally had to rely on Jesus to help me, because I knew once I got to the end, where I'm at now, that it would be worth it, and I would be able to look back and see how Christ was with me every step of the way. And he allowed me to feel what I was feeling. And I don't know. It is a hard thing to have to go through, because you are losing something that, I mean, face it, something that you've had your entire life. You're losing it. And you don't know how things are going to turn out. Is it going to go smoothly? Is there going to be complications? You just don't know all of that. But worrying about it isn't going to help you either. And so for me, just having to just step out in faith, just put my faith in God, that God knows my future. God has a plan and steps prepared for me. He's not done with me, and I would think about my music all the time, and being able to still write music, be able to sing and perform, because that's like such a deep-seated desire within me. And it's like, was I really going to compromise the gift that God gave me just because I'm too afraid to go have the extractions and go through, the process of, wearing them and learning and all of that? And it's like, I can't do that, because then I'm not walking in the steps ordered for me, if that makes sense. And so I had to work through that, and it wasn't easy. And that's why it would have been better for me, it would have been easier for me if it was easier for me to talk to people. And of course, there were a few people that I know from YouTube that knew what I was going through. And while I didn't reach out to them all the time, there were a few times that I was able to just vent and just, share the frustration, share the struggle, the fear, the experience with my mom, and they just came alongside me. They just loved me right where I was at, and they just encouraged me, just keep on, it's gonna be okay. Because you have to have somebody in your life that, when you aren't confident in yourself and you're not sure that you can take this step, you need somebody that is going to, it's like when you can't hold yourself up, that's where the body of Christ comes in, and that brother or sister is able to stand in the gap for you and hold you up, because you can't hold yourself up. And those that I did confide in, they absolutely were there to hold me up. And so I will be eternally grateful for those people that just held me up when I didn't feel like I could stand on my own, and it just helped give me encouragement. And I guess part of my healing process, or if you want to call it acceptance with, the whole grief thing, is coming on and talking about it publicly, because it's a way of life. You don't want to just live in fear of rejection or shame or any of that. You need to just be able to share your experience. And it's okay if you don't have a YouTube channel or anything like that, but definitely there's there's groups, like I said, on Facebook. There's also quite a few forums online where, you know, you can just read other people's comments and you'll find, oh, hey, boy, I've had this problem. Boy, I really relate. And then there'll be other things that maybe your experience will be able to help somebody else out. And so while I know my regular viewers that have been with me for several years, you know, you may be wondering, you know, well, why is she talking about this all the time? Okay, well, you know, I guess if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe from my channel, because this is me. This is part of my acceptance. This is part of me working through this, because this is a new way of life for me. And I either accept it, which is what I need to do, or do I just live in denial? It's like, I'm not going to live in denial. And so, you know, yes, I still will do my other Christian, you know, videos and stuff like that. And, you know, I will try to bring in the gospel of Christ as much as I can. But these types of videos is to help other people that, you know, just by doing a search like I did on YouTube about, okay, how do I put in denture fit? You know, it's like I saw lots of videos, and then I found Bill's channel, and it really, really helped me. And so there's going to be people that find my channel just because they're searching, they need help, they need encouragement. And so that's what I want to do. And you know, it may seem like a lot of my focus is on this, which, I mean, honestly, it is right now, because this is so brand new to me. You know, I'm only barely 2 months into this journey. And so while I understand this may not be an important topic to most of my regular viewers, just understand this is going to be important to other people. And I can still share the love of Christ in my videos, because this is having a servant's heart, is it not? You know, being willing to help stand in the gap for other people that are struggling. Doesn't matter if you're struggling with wearing dentures, wearing contacts, you know, wearing glasses, you know, it doesn't matter. You can be a help to somebody just by sharing your life experience and just standing in the gap. And yes, absolutely sharing, you know, that Jesus Christ loves you, died for you, so that you don't have to die eternally. You just put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ and his sacrifice for you, and then you're eternally secure. That's it. So just wanted to talk a little bit more about grief, and that it's going to be important that you talk about it, that you have someone that you can confide in, that you trust. And I mean, trust is a huge deal. It really is. You know, I'm lucky that I have some people in my life that I can talk to, that I trust, that's not going to hurt me emotionally. And a lot of that, you know, is just learning to open up, because it's like after my mom died, I closed up. I didn't talk to anyone, not even my family. It's like I had to hold it together to keep everyone else together, and I suffered a lot because of that. And so that's some of the things that I work through in counseling for myself with a Christian therapist, is being able to open up and just share when things are bothering me, and not compromising, and all of that. And this is going to be one of those things, you know, I've been able to talk a little bit about the dentures. I've only been going back for about a month now. But yeah, you know, just have somebody that you can talk to. You know, even if they've never gone through dentures themselves, just somebody that can be loving, empathetic, and just let you vent, you know. But definitely, you know, go to God's word, because the strength and encouragement and love and acceptance, you will find that in the scriptures as well. And you know, stay in prayer. That's what I had to do. And when I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody else all the time, you know, as I'm going to sleep, I'm just praying myself to sleep, you know, just letting the Lord know all the fears that I was going through. And he got me through it. He did, you know, he always does. You know, we don't see the future. We don't know all the things that we're going to be going through, but he does. And when you're a believer in Christ and you have put your faith and trust in his finished work on the cross, he has promised to never leave you nor forsake you. And he's not going to forsake you if you have to, you know, get dentures or any other major change in your life, or any kind of a loss in your life. So, all right. That's all I wanted to touch on this time, was just talk a little bit more about grief, and just allow yourself to go through that process. So, all right, I'll see you in a couple of hours for Girls Night Out. So you guys take care. God bless, and we'll see you soon.